Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Swimming with Sharks Adventures in Sales Ops. My name is Will Smith, and I am the HubSpot evangelist as well as the onboarding expert at ManoByte. And today we have got a fantastic show for you. Thank you for those of you that are tuning in. We really appreciate it. You guys are the originals, the OGs, the ones that came and wanted to check things out. So thank you for joining us today. We got a great show for you today. Like I said, my name is Will, and I'll be your host for today for Swimming with Sharks, Adventures in Sales Ops. So if you are watching us live, please go right ahead and please comment wherever you're signing in from, wherever you're watching from. That would be fantastic. We'd love to know where our viewers are coming from. We'd love to know something about you. And later on in the show, if you have questions for our guest, Kevin Dean from ManoByte, if you have questions for him, please put them in the comments. Give us some reactions. I wanted to almost title this is not another boring webinar. This is not your average webinar. We're doing this live. We're making this happen. And so if you could go ahead and just engage with us, that's why we're doing this. This isn't put it on another tab and not follow along or do something else. This is engage with us and let's have a conversation. One of the reasons why we called this show the Adventures in Sales Ops is because we want to get together with those in the profession. How can we do this better? How can we be more passionate? How can we be better at our jobs? And so that means a lot of things. It's not just sales. It's not just the people pounding the pavement, but it's also folks that are involved in marketing, people that are involved in operations. There's all sorts of things that if we could come together and have a conversation, how can we do this better? How can we streamline our processes? How can we be better and more passionate and excited about what we are doing? And so I want to thank you for joining us today. We got a great lineup for today. Let's show you exactly what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start you off with this first segment. We're going to call it the word of the week because, there's just a lot of jargon out there. There's, especially when it comes to sales and marketing, there's a lot of jargon out there. And sometimes you don't know what it means. And so we'd like to feature, I'd hate to call it almost a Sesame Street type sort of thing, but we want to feature something kind of a professional development. In this segment, we're going to have a word of the week. Then we will have our interview with Kevin Dean, the CEO of ManoByte. And of course, we're going to really get to know him and we're going to ask him some really deep questions and just generally understand what he's seeing out there, because not only is he involved in sales, but he's involved in running a HubSpot Diamond partner agency. And so it takes a lot to get to that point. So we're going to hear about his team, his process, and a lot of the things that just makes up a winning combination. And then after that, we'd like to feature a segment, and we're going to call it the Power Play. And, what's the Power Play, Will? I'll tell you what the Power Play is. The Power Play is, this is something that you can do as soon as you're done tuning in to this show. That immediately after you're finished watching or observing the show or seeing it live, or you just watched a recording, this is something that you can turn to your Chrome browser or you can get on your phone. This is something that you can do immediately. And I don't know about you, but for me, I always like to get some really great value out of what I'm watching and the content or what I'm participating in, what I'm engaging in. By the way, I'm still looking for some of those comments. Anything that I am doing, I want to make sure that it provides value. And so the Power Play is going to be advice. It's going to be tools that you can use. It's something that you can do to empower your job immediately. Something that will set you hopefully above the rest and make you better at what you're doing immediately as soon as you're done watching this. And so we hope that we have some great value for you in the Power Play. And then finally, we're going to ask you a question. And this is, again, the way that we would like to engage with you. It's all about having a conversation. It's all about starting a conversation. And so we're going to ask you a question. You can either respond in the comments. You can either get in touch with us somehow. I'd like you to really start this conversation. I'd like you to really be a part of this experience. So we're going to ask you some questions, and some of them may be popular things. Some of them may be a little bit controversial, but either way, we want to know what's happening out there. And again, if we engage with each other and we figure out exactly how we can have a conversation, it just makes all of us collectively better. And finally, we'll wrap it up with, until next time, what to look forward to for our next show, which will be, again, Tuesday at 2. That's Eastern Standard Time, but Tuesdays at 2. If you put it in your calendar, we would appreciate that greatly so that we can all learn, grow, get better, and do that together, because nobody is an island. And so let's get to now these segments, this is what we came up with. And if there's something that you would like to see, if you want to adjust this, well, guess what? You are part of the original. You are part of the people that can help us develop this group, that can help us develop this show so that there is value for you. And of course, we do this live. So will there be technical errors? Hopefully not. Will something happen that we're not expecting? Will my dog bark? Yes, it's most likely that something will happen because we are live. And so we're asking that you be a part of this experience and come along for this journey as we do this live. So let's get right to our word of the week. And so before we do that, but can you please, if you are tuning in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. So just send us a comment where you're tuning in from and let us know. So this word of the week is actually, it's force. Now, I am unashamedly a Star Wars fan. And so when I think force, of course, we're thinking of Luke, use the force. But of course, this is not exactly what we're speaking of when it comes to this power that exists in the Star Wars universe. What we're talking about is, hey, Bridget from Grand Rapids, thanks so much for participating today in our broadcast. So let's see, I'm going to move this around a little bit just so that we can kind of clean this up. Okay. All right. And we got Kate Thomas. We got the ManoByte team here, folks. They are great people. So speaking of the force, sorry, I got distracted. So a little bit adult ADD right there. So speaking of the force, this definition comes from HubSpot. And when you're thinking about the flywheel, of course, this is what force, we're very good at force. We're really good at hiring more sales reps. We're really good at, inbound marketing. But what force does for you, these are strategies to help you speed up your flywheel. These are strategies that will help that flywheel go faster. And of course, the opposite of force, and we'll probably talk about this next week, and maybe you can let me know in the comments what your definition of force is. But the opposite of force is friction. So, of course, we want to get that flywheel spinning and spinning and spinning, but we're really good at putting more force on that flywheel, forgetting sometimes that maybe it's us. Maybe there's some friction that's making that flywheel slow down. So the definition from HubSpot is strategies to help speed up your flywheel. So we're very good at that. We can hire more sales reps. We could invest in inbound marketing. We could invest in our customer service team because, of course, once you have that customer, you want to keep that customer and you want to make sure that they're coming back and that they're delighted with what you are doing. And so investing in your customer service, that's a great way to really get that flywheel spinning. So using that force, doing things where you can invest in your business to get that flywheel spinning. Now, of course, force isn't always a good thing because if you're, as they say, beating a dead horse, sometimes that can be very difficult. If you hire 10 new sales reps, but within your sales process, you have some friction and you haven't been able to identify where that friction is, and you haven't been able to kind of take that friction away to get that flywheel spinning, well, then you're just kind of going at the same thing over and over again. And so that's one of the things that when we talk about force, yes, it can be a good term, but other times it can be a not so good term if we're constantly doing the same thing over and over again, which of course we've all heard that definition, the definition of insanity, doing something the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so sometimes it's important to take a step back, analyze your force, analyze your sales funnel, analyze your flywheel, and figure out, where am I seeing good things? Where am I seeing some friction? Where can I use the force the best way? Where can I use this force in the best possible way to get that flywheel spinning and to keep growing my business? So, word of the week, force. So if you have any comments on that, please let us know. If you have some questions on that, please let us know in the comments on Facebook or on Twitter, wherever you're listening right now or wherever you're watching right now. And so now I have the pleasure of introducing you to our leader here at ManoByte, the CEO of ManoByte. Now, we're not just going to get to know Kevin as the CEO. So we've included some of these facts here, which I may be asking, and I warned Kevin about this. I may be asking you a couple of these things. So Kevin has scuba dove in the Red Sea. He has attended dozens of Broadway plays. He plays bass and he plays guitar. So not only is he a music appreciator, he is a music participator, if that is a word. He participates in the playing of music. So this guy knows what he's talking about. And if you're ever looking for a gift to give Kevin, keep this next fact in mind, that he prefers whiskey over scotch. So if it's a holiday gift or his birthday gift, make sure you keep that in mind if you're looking for a gift to give to Kevin. And so finally, he is the CEO of ManoByte. Please welcome Kevin Dean. Kevin, how are you today?
I'm doing great. What's going on, everybody?
Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it, especially for the first show. I couldn't think of anyone better to really start this off with our Swimming with Sharks. So tell me a little bit about, you helped me come up with the title. Tell me a little bit about the title here.
Yeah. So, here at ManoByte, as part of our culture and kind of what we do and who we are, ManoByte is obviously the Hawaiian word for shark. So ManoByte actually means shark bite. And so when it comes to branding, a lot of what we do revolves around sharks. So we even call everyone here a shark. And for us, shark stands for someone who's successful, someone who's honest, someone who's adaptable, someone who's responsible, and someone who is knowledgeable, right? So that's what makes up a shark here. And so when it comes to swimming with sharks, you're swimming with someone who's not on the attack, but someone who's actually there to help you succeed. And so that's what it's all about. And when it comes to swimming with sharks, adventures, and sales ops, this is interesting because this is what we do day in and day out. We help companies leverage technology, content, and best practices to close more sales quicker. And so it just makes a lot of sense for us to reach out, engage with others in the industry, people who are doing this day in and day out, and connect with them and get their thoughts and their perspectives.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for those of you that didn't catch that, what defines a shark at ManoByte, of course, that's the acronym SHARK. SHARK. And so that's something that we definitely live by and something that I'm honored to be a part of. So Kevin, let's get right to it. I sent you a little bit of a questionnaire and you were gracious enough to fill it out. And so tell me a little bit about, I asked you, what is a commonly held belief in your industry that you disagree with?
Yeah, so this was a great question. And as I thought about it, I could have taken it from a couple of approaches, right? I could have taken it from the standpoint of other agencies who are similar to us, which there's not a lot that's similar to us, but I took it from the perspective of what we hear every day from customers, clients, other prospects, people that we're reaching out to, people that we talk to every day. And one of the things that we hear all the time, is that my company is different from everybody else's. The way that we do business is different from everyone else's. So that won't work for my company. Now, that's interesting to us because when we start to peel back the onion and listen to individuals as they're explaining how their company is quote unquote different, we come to this realization that it's not true. It's not true. And while people may call it something different, they may look at it from a different lens. When you take a step back, right, from it, you actually find out that there's a lot of similarities in some of the challenges, the pains, and the solutions that companies are facing on a regular basis. So just to throw out a new idea based on the standpoint that you think, well, that's not going to work for me because we're different. Yeah, it's not necessarily true.
So everyone is special is does not apply here.
Well, I'm not saying that everyone's special doesn't apply, because it does, right? Because there
Right.
is human factor, right? Um, that we all have to take into consideration, and we have to view things from everybody's given perspective. But at the core, like when you strip away everything else, you find out that there are more similarities than there are differences.
So really, when you strip everything away, when you get right down to it, it is very much the tenets of business, the essentials. They're all pretty much the same when you get right down to it. How it happens is very different. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot. So, in light of that, let me ask you this: what should everyone? So, if we're coming from a common perspective now, what should everyone in your space or your understanding of what you're seeing? What should everyone just stop doing? Stop doing this now.
Yeah. I would say that right now the biggest thing that everyone needs to stop doing, and I know a lot of people have thought about this ever since COVID has broken out.
Of course.
Everybody needs to just stop hiring outside salespeople, right?
Interesting.
And I know that's a little controversial from the standpoint that you need to grow sales, right?
Right.
You need to grow your business, and salespeople are invaluable, right? You need them, right? So we're not saying don't hire, sales folks, but this perspective of outside sales people, where you've got people who are hopping on planes, going to the customer, shaking hands, kissing babies, right? There are better, more efficient ways in order to grow, instead of staying out there, hiring salespeople to be road warriors on an ongoing basis. You can get a lot more bang for your buck leveraging other solutions and opportunities.
Interesting. So stop hiring outside people. So who should? How do you get that internal person? How do you find that person?
It's not just about hiring another inside person. It's really about strategically having the tools, the systems, and the processes to scale with what you already have. How do you scale and get people making more calls, being more efficient without having to travel, right? So statistics tell us that salespeople spend 40% or less of their time actually engaging with salespeople. We'll engage you with a prospect or a customer, right? And so, and a lot of times, when you think of an outside salesperson, a large portion of their time is spent traveling, right? And so, if you can help them to be more efficient and get more done without having to travel, right, you're going to see them be more productive, right? If you can give them tools that help them to engage. And now you think about what we've learned since the COVID-19 pandemic. Sales folks are getting a lot more comfortable, and not just sales folks, but our prospects are getting a lot more comfortable with technology. Everyone's now comfortable with Zoom. Everyone knows what Zoom is. There's not a person left on the planet who doesn't know what Zoom is anymore. Right?
And Zoom is definitely reaping the rewards of that for sure.
For sure, right? And so, right, you can use conferencing to do a lot more to connect with more people, and that really just gives you the ability to scale, right?
Yeah, being able to contact people. And I think, we talked about this in preparing the show, but for our power play right after this, I know you're really going to like this, because it's using that video conferencing to really get more done. So along those lines, so we just discussed about what everyone should stop doing. Well, what should we start doing then? What would be the thing that you would say, hey, do this if you can do this week, or if you can do it by Monday of next week, this is what you need to start doing. What do you think?
Yeah, so I don't think it's that simple as this is something that you can do today, tomorrow, next week, but I think what every company needs to start doing is looking at building a efficient sales operations practice, right? And so building out an organization that is there to support your salespeople, right? So can you help make sure that you're giving your salespeople the tools that they need to be more efficient, to help them get in front of more customers more often, right? And so there are lots of things that companies can do from a digital standpoint to ensure that their salespeople have more at-bats, to ensure that their salespeople are being more effective, and that salespeople are spending more time communicating with prospects and customers. So I think that's what needs to get done right now. Is you need to think about building out a true, robust sales operations practice within your organization. It will take time, and there are investments involved, but I think if you want to do something today or next week, is start those conversations and start thinking about, how do we start to transition the way that we go to market, the way that we sell, and how do we help our salespeople be more effective, right? Every day, businesses need to be thinking about what can I do to help my salespeople? Can I have someone doing research for them? Can I have someone helping them with making sure the data in the CRM is accurate and up to speed? Can we get them more content, right? What can we do to help our salespeople be more efficient? There's a lot of work involved in that, and there's a lot of trial and error that will come, but I think that's something that needs to happen across a lot of organizations right away.
So, without giving away any secret sauce or any trade secrets here at ManoByte, what is one way that you would recommend that you can definitely help your salespeople today or tomorrow, even if it means just slowing down and figuring something out?
One of the things that we hear quite often, large and small companies alike, is that salespeople they spend a lot of time in their CRM, and they don't have really good information within their CRM, and it's not really that helpful, right? So I think one of the things that companies need to do right away is to help get rid of a lot of the admin that goes on with understanding who should a salesperson be talking to right away.
So really clarifying who you should be speaking to so that you're not spending your time talking to the wrong people, that you're talking to the right people that eventually will be your dream client. Is pretty much, am I summarizing what you're saying?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, super. Yeah, so we're talking buyer personas. Maybe can you take us a little bit deeper than just buyer personas? I mean, we know it's a fictional representation of a real life customer, and that's the dictionary definition. Obviously, I can rattle it off just like anybody else. But how can we go beyond just the persona? Every once in a while, you see that headline on LinkedIn or something that is sensationalist that says buyer personas are dead. So whether they're dead or not, how can we go beyond just the persona?
Yeah, that's interesting. Are buyer personas dead or not? That's a very interesting conversation. What I can say is, let's start talking about fictional people. Stop talking about fictional people and start talking about real people, right? So, there are tools out there. LinkedIn is probably the biggest one that we're all very familiar and comfortable with, that tells us not who that fictional person is, but who's that real person, right? And then really getting to know who that real person is, what are their challenges, what does that individual face, right? Don't tell me a story. Give me the truth about who do I need to be talking to? What's in their brain? What are their problems? And let's talk to those folks, right? Let's spend our time doing that.
I love that. I'd love to break that open just a little bit more. One of the ways to do this is talk to the customers, the clients that you have now?
For sure. Like talk to the customers that you have right now. Talk to the people who are doing the jobs that that need to be done right now. One of the things that you've heard me say several times is we have to know our ideal customer better than they know themselves. So we've got to spend, and the only way that we do that is really um, getting out there and talking to people, right? Getting out there and listening, right? I think that's the only real way to do it. It's not about the fictional; it's about the real, right? Let's get real with people.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you because so often you download something or you get some sort of or even if you're a customer with somebody, it seems like oftentimes that, and I won't mention the car dealership that I go to, but I have I get an oil change and then I feel like I am just formed. How did we do? How do we do? How do we do? And I understand that that's a sequence and everything, and they want me to respond, but don't give me all these surveys. Don't survey me to death, I guess. So I like what you said there. Get out there and actually listen to them. Now, of course, that may be difficult doing the one-on-one. Maybe if you keep a good 6 foot distance here in our times, that might be easier. But certainly talking to them and using even Zoom or some sort of video conferencing to really talk to them and to truly listen. And I really like that a lot, to truly listen to them. Anything you want to add to that at all?
I think that really is what it's all about. Is you've got to be connected, and 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 your sales team, they can go a long way to help you understand who the real customer is, right? Because they're the ones who are oftentimes talking to people. I mean, not oftentimes, they're the one who are talking to real customers, real prospects
They're on the front
every
lines.
day. They're on the front lines, right? So listening to what they're saying, what they're hearing, and then providing them whatever they need. And I'm talking about the salespeople, providing them with whatever they need in a more agile way, right? Based on what they're giving you from feedback.
Oh, I love that. That's terrific. So let me ask you this next question. What's a recent activity you've implemented at ManoByte that brought about surprising results? Maybe you had a hunch, you thought maybe this might work, I'm not quite sure, but what's a recent activity you've implemented at ManoByte that delivered some really nice results that gave you a little bit of nice surprise?
I would say every business is a people business, and at ManoByte, that's true too. We're definitely in the people business, and so one of the things that we've done that has yielded great results is we've been able to kind of crack the code into hiring great people and hiring the right people, and so we've recently, I think prior back in December of November, December, we started working with a company called Culture Index, right? And they really helped us to crack open the code as to how to find and identify the right people. You think about the concept of getting the right people on the bus and make sure they're in the right seat, good to great.
All right.
Um,
Yep.
so it's hard to find the right people from a subjective standpoint. For years, our hiring process has been, are they a quote unquote cultural fit? And what that meant to us is, do we like this person, right? I, are they nice? Do we get along? Did we have a good interview? Um,
Right.
that doesn't necessarily work when it comes to making sure you have the right people on the bus. You've got to make sure that you've got the people who have the right personality, the right skills, the right momentum, the right you know motivations for the job that you need for them to do, and using data, artificial intelligence. We've been able, working with Cultural Index, we've been able to identify some amazing people within our organization and bring them into our organization. And in addition to that, we've been able to look at how do we take the right people who are already within our organization and put them in the right seat. So we've been looking at ways to get move people around to make sure that they're doing jobs that keep them engaged, where they can shine uh, better, right? And so that's meant okay, understanding what are individuals within our organization's interest, what are their goals, what are their desires, and how do we make the perfect spot for them within our organization so that they can do their best. Because when they're doing their best, our customers get the best. And that's been a game changer for us, an absolute game changer. So I think that's one of the great things. And just so that everyone's aware of this, since the outbreak of COVID-19, we've hired 5 people, right? So we know that it's been the trend that a lot of people have been furloughed throughout the country. People are losing their jobs, but we've been able to hire more people and continue to grow. And I think that's been one of the reasons why is we're able to get the right people on the bus and get everybody in the right seat.
That is fantastic. I love that. I love hearing that. So, cultural index. That is definitely something that our viewers might want to check out because it's really paid off in spades with ManoByte. So, you talked about a couple of things that you're pretty proud of. Can you give me just one more little nugget? Something that you or your team has recently on ManoByte here at ManoByte, something that you've recently achieved that you're really proud of?
Yeah. So. You know, just this month, we have actually hit our revenue goals. So we actually have achieved what we did last year in revenue already this year. So we're already ahead of plan. So we're having a great year this year. We've already surpassed what we did last year in our numbers. And we're just continuing to do some really good things. We're excited about that.
That's fantastic, especially when all you see when you're, I don't know if anyone else is familiar with this term, but when you're doom scrolling through Twitter or through anywhere else, you know that it seems like it's all doom and gloom, but not only have you hired more people, but you've also hit your revenue goals. And I can tell from talking with you, you're definitely not going to take the final months off. You're just going to keep on moving and keep driving that bus and making sure that the right people are in the right seats. So final question. What is a resource, a tool, a channel, something that you have, and it could be something as simple as, my iPhone. What's something that you absolutely cannot do your job without?
100%, we could not do our job without HubSpot. So HubSpot is a platform that we use for sales, marketing, customer service. We use it every day, all day. We would be dead in the water. We'd be lost without HubSpot.
Dead in the water. A little bit of a swimming reference there. 100%, we could not do our job without HubSpot. And as somebody who also has the love for HubSpot and enthusiasm for HubSpot, I can definitely agree with you. I'm in there every day. It's just it's a fascinating tool, and I love it very much. And it's great to see that a Diamond Partner Agency also loves it just as well. Well, Kevin, any final thoughts that you want to share with us before we move on to our Power Play? You've given us one tool from HubSpot. We're going to talk about in our next segment with the Power Play, some tools that you might be able to use. Any final thoughts, Kevin?
This has been fun. I mean, we're excited to be on the first episode. We're excited to engage with more people, to hear what they're thinking, what's going on, and looking forward to learn with others. So this is exciting. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to move on out to our Power Play. And so this week's Power Play. So what's a Power Play? I kind of described it originally at the top of the show. But what is the power play. And this is so that when we're done in a few minutes, when we're done with the show and you're finished watching the show or rewatching the show, because we are going to repost this on all the channels and everything, what's something that you could do right now? And of course, what I do is I'm going to invite you to open up a browser tab when you're done, and I want you to check out, and we are not a paid paid promoter to Loom yet. So Loom, if you're paying attention, but it's a tool that I absolutely cannot live without, because I'm very detailed when I'm writing emails, but Loom lets you not only say it, but also show it. And what it does is it allows you to do a screen recording, and so you can show people what exactly you're doing. So perfect example, if I'm training someone or helping someone with HubSpot, I could type out paragraph upon paragraph upon paragraph on how to accomplish something. And frankly, it would probably take me a good 25 minutes to make sure that I got everything where it's supposed to be in the right amount of clarity, so that whomever is learning HubSpot can really understand exactly what I'm talking about. But with Loom, all I have to do, it has a great Chrome integration and a great Gmail integration. All I have to do is click on the nice little integration in Chrome, and I can show them. And not only show them, but I can tell them exactly what we're looking at and walk them through the entire process. And so then when I'm finished with that, I can easily edit it, and then I can easily edit the video, and then I can easily share the video right there with that Gmail integration. I can just pop it right in there. It has a nice little animation if I'm waving hello. And it's if somebody gets that in their email, it's enticing. It is something that says, hey, I'll take 3 minutes to learn and see what. It's a lot easier to watch a video than to just read paragraph upon paragraph of something that may read like stereo instructions. Show me, tell me how to do something. And to be honest with you, I've used the free version for years. The free version is fantastic, and it's very robust, and I'm a simple guy, so if I don't understand how an app works, it's gone. I don't use it anymore. Just, I guess if you could ask my iPhone. If I don't get the app within the first few minutes, I'm done with it. It's deleted. It's gone. But Loom takes you through the process, shows you how to do everything, and it's really a great power play to really separate yourself. And frankly, as you heard from Kevin earlier, video conferencing is here to stay. How much easier would it be, or how much nicer would it be to have a smiling face in an email versus just text upon text upon text? Loom can help you make that happen. And so when you're done watching our show today, I invite you to go to loom.com, check it out, download it. It's very easy to use. That is today's power play. Go for it and separate yourself, because video conferencing, it's here to stay. So let me ask you, before we wrap up, let me ask you a question. Today's question of the day is, what are you planning for 2021? I think you've heard this before. 2020 was basically the year of the improv. We were all just trying to play catch up. We're all just trying to almost living for the weekend so we can try to adjust to what was going on. And so what are you planning for 2021? Are you planning on being strategic? Are you planning on just kind of what you're doing today, just going day to day and hope for the best? Let us know in the comments if you have something to say about that, or get in touch with us somehow. And along those lines, this is where you can get in touch with us. So until next time, and of course, we will be every week live Tuesdays at 2. We want to keep the show under an hour so that we have as many people watching as possible, and we hope that you get some value out of this. But until next time, communicate with us, engage with us, talk to us here on ManoByte. And you're probably, Kevin is a very hands-on guy. You'll probably hear from him if you do get in touch with us. So, or any one of us on the team. We are a very engaging team of people here at ManoByte. So like and follow us on Facebook. Check us out on LinkedIn. We're not quite live on LinkedIn yet, but we will get there soon. And of course, we're on Twitter and we're on Instagram as well. So I invite you to check out all of those things. And until next time, we thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you folks who came and watched and participated with us. And maybe you're watching this on a replay. Whether you're doing that or whether you were live with us, we appreciate you and we want to deliver some value. So please, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what you'd like to see, what you don't want to see, what you liked, what you didn't like. And of course, this is Season 1, Episode 1. We're going every Tuesday live Tuesdays at 2. Please engage with us, and we can really grow this together and really get on this journey together. So please be a part of us, and let's go ahead and let's have a conversation and open this up. So thanks to those of you that joined us today. And until next time, my name is Will Smith from ManoByte. I'm the onboarding specialist for HubSpot here at ManoByte. We ask that you please join us and let's have a conversation. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you next week. Take care, everyone.